He knew something was wrong the moment he opened the door. The house didn't smell like exhaustion anymore. No cold leftovers, no stale air. Instead, there was the quiet hum of a vacuum, the scent of fresh soap, and light, real lights, spilling across the floor like the home was breathing again. And then he saw her, the CEO of his company, on her knees, scrubbing his kitchen floor. For a second, Mark thought grief had finally caught up with him. Single dads don't hallucinate billionaires cleaning their houses. Unless they're completely broken. Mark stood frozen, still wearing his worn jacket, fingers tight around his keys. This was the woman whose name closed board meetings, the woman people stood straighter around, the woman who once signed a deal worth more than his entire street. She looked up slowly, caught off guard, like a kid caught sneaking cookies. "I was hoping you wouldn't be home yet," she said softly. Mark couldn't speak. A week earlier he'd stayed late at work, again. His babysitter had canceled, again. His 5-year-old son had fallen asleep at the neighbor's, again. When his CEO asked how he was holding up, he gave the only answer men like him ever give. "I'm fine." But something in his voice betrayed him, just enough. That night, after everyone left the office, she sat in her car and cried. Not because of numbers or pressure, but because she recognized that look. She'd seen it before, in her father. She explained it quietly now, standing up, wiping her hands. "My dad raised me alone, worked himself into silence, never asked for help, and one day, he just collapsed." She paused, eyes glossy. "I promised myself I'd never walk past someone drowning just because they said they were fine." Mark looked around the house. The dishes were done. His son's toys were sorted. Laundry folded neatly on the couch. His kid's favorite stuffed dinosaur sat propped on the pillow like someone cared enough to notice. That's when his chest cracked, not loudly, not dramatically, just the kind of crying that comes from years of being strong when no one is watching. He sat down at the table and covered his face. No one had ever shown up like this before. She didn't rush him, didn't speak. She just stood there, giving him space to finally feel what he'd bury. Loneliness, exhaustion, and the quiet fear of failing the one person he loved most. Then came the twist he never expected. "I'm not here as your CEO," she said gently. "Tomorrow, HR will tell you you're moving to a flexible role. Same pay, remote days, emergency childcare covered." Mark looked up, stunned. "Why?" he whispered. She smiled through tears. "Because the strongest people are usually the ones suffering in silence. And because this world doesn't change through power. It changes through compassion." That night, nothing magical happened. No instant success, no fairy tale ending, but something shifted. Mark learned that asking for help didn't make him weak. And she remembered that leadership isn't about being above people. It's about standing beside them. And maybe that's the secret we forget in a loud, rushing world. That the moments that truly change us aren't loud or public or viral. They happen quietly, in kitchens, in kindness, in someone seeing your struggle, and choosing to care. Because no matter how hard life gets, stories like this remind us that kindness still matters.